say hello to my new long-termer, the Kia Sportage Hybrid. And although you can't see it underneath these chasing cars plates, that registration reads FEL39N. So I'm going to call this car Fillipe. I've got this very car for 3 months and around 5,000 kilometers. So in this video, we're going to do a bit of an introduction of what this car actually is, what spec we chose, how much it is, and of course a rundown of my first impressions. And I'll also be talking a little bit about my future plans with the car, what's in store, where I'm going to take it, and what sort of drives I'm going to be doing. But before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe, as always, to Chasing Cars. Chasing Cars, honest reviews of your next car. Brought to you by Budget Direct. So what's the spec of Fillipe, the Sportage Hybrid? Well, we've been lucky enough to get the GT-Line variant. It's the top of the range. But you can also get it in a base SX grade, which is about $10,000 cheaper. But still, this car, as it sits, is around $60,500 drive away. So this Sportage Hybrid is new to the Australian market, and it's basically going to take on the Toyota RAV4. That's the main competitor. But soon there'll be a Hyundai Tucson hybrid as well. So this segment is going to be pretty packed. But where does the Sportage Hybrid sit in terms of overall cost in the entire lineup? Well, this car's about $2,200 more expensive than a diesel Sportage and about $5,000 more expensive than a Kia Sportage Turbo Petrol. So that puts everything into perspective. So let me introduce a little bit about the underpinnings of this Sportage Hybrid. Basically, it's a 1.6 litre turbocharged petrol engine that's also mated to an electric motor. Now that electric motor makes about 44 kilowatts of power. Together, the outputs are 169 kilowatts and 350 newton meters. So it's actually a pretty punchy little unit. So this shouldn't be mistaken as a plug-in hybrid. It isn't. It's a self-charging hybrid. It uses a very small battery on board. It's 1.49 kilowatt hours in size. It's located under the rear seats, and it does give you a little bit of electric push off the line, but not a ridiculous electric range. One of the good things about this system is that it can just run on regular 91 octane fuel or E10, whatever you like. And it's got a pretty small fuel tank, 52 litres, so not the biggest. I think it could be a little bit better. So what are my very first impressions inside Fillipe the Sportage? Well, being a GT line, it is really premium in here. It should be. It's a $60,000 car. But the main touch points are really lovely. The leather steering wheel is awesome. There's a lot of sort of soft touch door materials. And there's even some wood grain or fake wood grain, which I think looks really good. It's not tacky, it's not cheap, it's well done. However, one thing I will note is the amount of piano black plastic in here. It is all over the place, especially on the center console. It looks like it's already getting pretty dirty. I don't know how that's going to go on a long trip, but we're going to have to wait and find out. Now, as part of the GT line, you do get this sort of sports leather and suede seats, which are very lovely. They're pretty comfortable so far. And also you've got a panoramic sunroof that goes right back. I love having it open. I'm a real sunroof sort of guy. But front and center, the most impressive thing that I can see right now is these dual 12.3-inch displays. They're so crisp, they're so clear. They've got a heap of functionality. They've got a nice design to them. And I think that's a real highlight or hallmark of this interior. And it's nice that it's also practical to this Sportage SUV. You've got two cup holders here, you've got a wireless charger in the middle, you've got USB-C and USB-A ports, dual zone climate control, and as I said, the sunroof. So it's a really great package, I think, for the money. So one of my first impressions of the back seat of the Kia Sportage Hybrid, well, I'm actually really comfortable back here. I know it's a mid-sized SUV, it should be pretty spacious in the second row, but with the seat in my regular driver's position, I've got plenty of knee room, got enough headroom and heaps of toe room, so it is quite spacious back here. It'd be perfect even for adults on a longer trip. Now, I will point out some of the features back here that are pretty important, especially to SUVs. There are plenty of charging ports. Interestingly, they're in the chairs themselves. There's two USB-C ports, one on each side. We've got air vents in the center. We've got a little nook there for your phone. And of course, you've got a fold-down armrest with two cup holders. So it is pretty well equipped back here. Some scratchy door materials, but for the most part, it's nicely done. And before I forget, this Kia Sportage Hybrid in GT line spec gets a Harman Kardon sound system that sounds pretty good to these ears. And as far as boot impressions goes, this is a pretty big space in here. 586 litres with the rear seats up. With the rear seats down, it goes up to 1,872 litres of storage space. And I think that's what so many people want in an SUV. They want practicality, so the Sportage really offers it. Also underneath you get a space saver spare wheel, which is really great to see. and you get a cargo blind as well. Pretty handy. So what are my plans for Fillipe, the Sportage? Well, I'm gonna drive the absolute heck out of this thing. I'm gonna have a really good time doing so. I can just tell that this could be a real winner. I'm gonna do some road trips up to Queensland, maybe even take it down to the snowy mountains if possible, and just make the most of this experience. And I also wanna see just how efficient this car can be. Kia claims it'll do about 4.9 litres per 100 combined. I wanna see if I can beat that claim. If not, is it better than a turbo diesel? Well, you're gonna have to find out. But most of all, I wanna see, does this car have what it takes to take on the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid? So that's a very quick introduction to Fillipe, the Kia Sportage Hybrid. I'm really excited to be running this for the next 3 months, but I wanna know what you guys think about Kia's new hybrid SUV. And what do you think I should be doing with it? Well, let us know in the comments down below. While you're there, make sure you like and subscribe to Chasing Cars.